What did your mother or father say to you when you were young that you remembered your whole life? When I was 15, my mom started saying this one phrase that drove me absolutely crazy. "You'll understand when I'm gone." At first, she'd say it like a joke when I rolled my eyes at her folding my clothes the way I hated, or when she'd remind me to eat breakfast for the third time. "You'll understand when I'm gone," she'd laugh, ruffling my hair. But then it got weird. She started saying it more seriously, when she had to work late again and missed my school play, when she forgot to pick me up from band practice and I had to walk home in the rain, when I'd wake up and find another sticky note on my pillow instead of her saying goodnight in person. "You'll understand when I'm gone." I hated that stupid phrase so much. It felt like she was guilt-tripping me, like some weird threat. Every time she said it, I'd get this angry knot in my stomach. One night after she missed my birthday dinner because of another double shift, I finally snapped. She left me a note with $20 for pizza and that same damn phrase. When she got home at midnight, I was waiting in the kitchen. "Maybe I won't care when you're gone," I said, looking her straight in the eyes. She just stood there in her work uniform, still holding her keys. Then she nodded real slow and walked to her room without saying anything. 3 months later, she died in a car crash driving home from work. Another double shift at the hospital where she worked as a nurse. The cop said she fell asleep at the wheel. After the funeral, I completely lost it. I started finding her notes everywhere. In my backpack, tucked in my math book. One in the freezer next to the ice cream that said, "Brain food for my smart boy." Every single one felt like she was still talking to me from somewhere else, still saying that stupid phrase over and over. And that's when it hit me like a truck. I finally understood. I understood that she wasn't working those crazy hours because she wanted to avoid me. She was doing it because our electricity got cut off twice that year, because we ate cereal for dinner when money was tight, because she was trying to save up for my college fund, even though I never knew we had one. I understood that those sticky notes weren't lazy parenting. They were the only way she could still be my mom when her body was too exhausted to stay awake. She'd write them during her break at work, thinking about me while dealing with sick people all day. I understood that when she missed my play, she cried in the hospital bathroom. I found her work schedule later and realized she had tried to switch shifts but couldn't find anyone to cover for her. The worst part was finding this journal she kept hidden in her closet. Page after page of her worrying about me, about whether she was a good mom, about how guilty she felt for working so much, about how she hoped I'd forgive her someday for not being around enough. By the time I turned 30 and had my own kid, I made myself a promise. I would never use that phrase. Instead, I'd say things like, "Let me explain why Daddy has to work late," or "Here's what's happening with our money situation." I wanted my daughter to understand things while I was still here to explain them. But sometimes, when she rolls her eyes at me for caring too much or gets mad when I have to work weekends, I catch myself almost saying it. That old phrase my mom used, and I realized she wasn't threatening me or guilt-tripping me at all. She was just a tired, scared woman who loved me more than I could understand at 15. She was trying to tell me that someday, when I was older, I'd see how hard she was fighting for us, how every choice she made was about keeping me safe and fed and loved. Now when I tuck my daughter in at night, I make sure to explain everything. I tell her when money's tight, why I have to work late, how proud I am of her.